This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purposes.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video of Adobe Premiere Pro, where today in this lesson we're going to learn how to use the program panel in Adobe Premiere Pro. So let's not waste any time and go right into it, okay? So now let's learn about sequences. And the previous lessons I already told you what a sequence is, okay? Now over here you can see that I have a sequence of this video prepared. Now what I'll do is delete this. Now there are two ways to create a sequence. First way is to go to sequence and then we can just go over here also to make the sequence, okay? And if you want to create a new sequence also from the start, you can just select the option over here which says new item and then select sequence, okay? Now after doing that, you'll notice that a pop-up menu comes up where it is asking me what sequence preset I want. Now over here you will see multiple types of sequence presets, ARRI, and if you select any of the presets over here, then we will see more options including the resolution. And here let's say that I'm using the DVNTC, then you'll see hertz, kilohertz, standard, widescreen. This is usually used for television. And then HDV, if you go there, you'll see that we have these options. Okay, then VR, we also have an option for recording cameras, and you can see that here we have it. Now, basically, after you go to another option over here, you can select the certain preset and then it will give you a preset description. And here it's telling me that for editing clips recorded in this format, it is a 16:9 ratio interlaced HD video at 50 frames per second. Now this all depends on what type of camera or instrument you use to record your video with, and this will basically give us a sequence for these presets. And then here you will find more options or more information about the preset, including their audio settings, video settings, color space, and default sequence, okay? Afterwards, you can also go to the settings option over here, which you will see that we have some editing modes, time-based, or basically frames per second, video options to choose from, audio options, and video previews, okay? Then we have the option to also include the width and height, as well as over here. But now you'll see that for some presets will not have every option selected for us, or basically we cannot change the option in some video presets, okay? Now most of the time I try to avoid this new sequence option because creating this will basically give me so many options to choose from, and sometimes I might also make mistakes, so we try to clearly avoid that now, okay? And then afterwards we have the tracks and the VR video if we have one. Now let's press on cancel. Now the most easiest way to basically create a sequence of the video that you're going. Now in order to do this, we just have to first input our video to the source monitor just by double clicking on this option and it will be there, okay? Afterwards, we can just press insert over here. But before that, let me set the markers. First over here, I want to set the mark in option, and then in 10 seconds, let me step back to the 10-second frame over here. Okay, then I will select the markout option, and then I'll clearly press the insert button over here, or I can just click and drag this. Now I'll just drag in the insert option. I'll just use the insert option over here. Okay, since my insert option is not working, I'll just click and drag it inside our timeline sequence, and afterwards you'll see that we have a new sequence already created according to the video format that we already have present in the current video, okay? So here you can see that we have the video and audio together as well as the source patching options, okay? Now, this is how you create a new sequence according to what your video is already pre-recorded as. And if you want to change the way your sequence comes up on the program monitor, we'll just go to sequence and then select sequence settings, okay? And after that, you can see that it popped up in a new window where we have the first two options as editing mode. And here we can also select the preset that we want to use for our video. Then we have the time base, which is basically the frames per second. Now, by default, over here, we need to know what frames per second we have. But since my video is at already like 30 frames per second, I'll just set it as this. Now over here, let's say I want to reduce the frame size to a lesser number, or say like I had the resolution of, so let's say over here, it was given previously as 1920 into 1080. So let's type in 1080. Okay, now what will happen after this is basically my resolution will be scaled to this format. Okay, now if I want it to be in this format, after that we have video previews where it will show me a preview of my video, and then we can select maximum bit depth, maximum render quality. Now if you want to get the best render quality, I suggest you to select this maximum render quality option, and here it will say that setting the optimized rendering preference to memory is highly recommended when max quality or max bit depth rendering is on. These settings are designed for high performance systems. Alright, so if your computer is a potato PC, remember this setting will actually make your computer run very slowly and you will not be able to multitask or do anything. I recommend you to have at least 64 GB of RAM or a graphics card so that you can run this part very easily, alright? After you're done, press OK. And then we have VR properties, which will basically help you if you have a VR type video, okay? Then we can also select the projection type, equi-rectangular, alright, then layout, horizontal capture view, and vertical, alright? So now we're done with the sequence settings. Then after you're done, you can just press OK. And then a new sequence is done, or our sequence has been updated if you already created one. Then we can also again go to sequence and see what options we have. Here we can select match frame, add edit, apply video and audio transition, or apply default transitions to selection. We can also zoom in and zoom out on our sequence. Then we can also select these options for the sequence. We can use it to snap in timeline, link selection, and selection follows playhead. Then we can also select auto reframe, transcribe, and simplify sequence, add or delete tracks, and in caption, we can also add a caption sequence. Alright, so after you're satisfied with the sequence settings, always remember to click OK button to create the new sequence. Premiere Pro will generate a new timeline in the timeline panel with the specified settings. Now, if you want to customize your sequences again, you can further customize it by adjusting the sequence duration, adding or removing tracks, or modifying the sequence in the sequence settings, alright? So, to make the changes, right-click on the sequence in the project panel, select the sequence settings to access the sequence settings again. That's it. Now you have successfully created a new sequence in your Adobe Premiere Pro, and you can start importing your media files into the project and begin editing with the newly created sequence on the timeline. Okay? So after this, I would like to teach you about our program panel. Alright? So what do we know about the program panel as we have discussed beforehand? The program panel is a workspace in Adobe Premiere Pro where you can preview and fine-tune your edited video sequence. Now I'm going to tell you a description of its key elements. First, over here, you'll see that we have our preview window, which is basically the window in the main area of the program panel where you can view your edited video sequence. It displays the visual output of your timeline, showing how your clips, effects, and transitions come together. Alright? And then afterwards, we have the playback controls over here. Some of the controls you already know, for example, the play stop toggle, step back one frame, go to, mark in, mark out, add markers, and then we can lift and extract. We can also export the frame, and I already explained to you how to export the frames. And we can also select the comparison view. Now if I click on this, what this will do is basically show me two parts. All right, first is the reference and the currents. Now in the reference, we can go ahead, for example, and see a video where we have some effects, whereas in the current we do not. Now this is how we use this option, and we can also select the shot or frame comparison, and then we can go over here and play it all at once. If you want to see both of your videos and compare them simultaneously, we can also do a vertical split. Okay, now you may not see any difference here since this is the same video. We also have a horizontal split where above is before and after. Okay, so let's go back and undo this by just clicking on it again. There we go, we have it. And afterwards, if you want to select your zoom level, from here you can do that as well by selecting 10, 25 to about 240%, 400% ranges, okay? And over here we have the playback timeline controller where you can select your playhead position on our line over here, okay? So afterwards, if we would like to add more options in your buttons over here, you can also select the button editor. You can also select the button editor and then go ahead and add extra options from here so that you can use them. Now I'll select the show rulers option and put it over here. Okay, and then we can go ahead and cancel this. Okay, now what the show rulers will do is basically, my bad, let's click on this again. Let's just put this over here, then press on OK or else it will not come. All right, now if I select show rulers, now you can see that I can absolutely very easily see the resolution of my videos so that I don't have to worry about my resolution being wrong. And then over here we have the select playback resolution, which is very important. If you have a computer with a constricting RAM, for example, let's say you have 8 GB of RAM, which is absolutely not recommended for using Adobe Premiere Pro, always use like 64 GB memory of RAM, and I suggest you also to use a graphics card while using Adobe Premiere Pro because it makes your work that much easier, alright? So after that, we can select either to play in full resolution, half, or a quarter, alright? Then if you want to edit the way your program monitor works more, you can always go to settings over here and you'll have more options to choose from, as you can clearly see, okay? We have a alpha view, composite video view, multi-camera, and comparison view, like I already showed you over here. This is the comparison view, okay? Then after that, we have the monitor and Biosonics, Adobe Immersive Environment, which I already explained to you. Playback resolution, pause resolution, let's just put it at that quality. And also over here, high quality playback. If I select on that, you will notice that. Okay, now after that, I will show you how to use your timecode display, which is over here, as you can see. And I'll right click on it, then we can select any of these time codes over here. And then if I select feet, now you'll see this is what it shows me. If I select frames, you'll see that it shows me 121 frames per second, and sometimes it increases and decreases according to the video. Okay, if you select the starting of the video, you'll see that it's 0. If you select the end of the video, you'll see that it's 301. Okay, let's go to the start. Okay, now it's 0. So this is how you basically use the timecode display, and I'll turn it over here back to default. And afterwards, let's go back over here. You can also select to show guides, which will give you the guides over here. And if you want save margins also, you can do that too. Now right click over the video preview panel and then select save margins. Now what this will do for you is basically show a dashed line overlay on the preview window. It represents the safe area within the frame that will be visible on standard television or displays. This helps you to ensure that important content is not cut off or obscured on different screens. Alright, now I already showed you how to bring in the reference monitor using the comparison view, and it will allow you to compare and analyze multiple video clips or frames side by side, aiding in color grading, brightness adjustments, and maintaining visual consistency. Now, that includes all we have to learn in this video about the program monitor and creating new sequence. Now, I hope you understood everything, and go ahead, get some videos down in the project panel, put them in the source, then put them in your timeline panel, practice, bring in sequences, and then try it with different formats of video types, and then use the program monitor in order to know more about it and all the options over here in our playback controls. Use them so that you get more familiarized and use them. Okay, so thank you for watching this lesson, and I'll see you in the next video.